My name's Neal. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of a company called Damagi. It's really great to be here. One of the things that excites me is just how few of you I recognize. It reminds me I should get out a little more. And I think on a day-to-day basis, I feel a little more on the kind of applied side than the utopian side of this equation. But one thing that Sandy said that really resonated with me this morning was that he's interested in people who have a dream for changing the world and are working hard to do it. And I think that really resonated with me and describes what me and the other 150 people in our company are doing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our path from innovation to scale and back to innovation again. And this 5 minutes is really an advertisement for collaborators. You'll see at the end we're kind of getting back to innovation. And if you want to work on global inequity with us, it'd really be great to have some to work with you. So the original innovation was the idea of equipping community health workers with a digital platform and specifically with mobile apps. So as many of you may know, community health workers in a lot of low-income countries are people who serve their communities. They're often from that community. They often go door to door to promote health services. And they're an incredibly vital part of the health system of a lot of those countries. 10 years ago or so, we and others had the idea that you could address a lot of the gaps and challenges of running that kind of program. A relatively low-trained workforce without a lot of support, not a lot of interaction points, through the use of digital technology. And it's interesting to hear all these talks. 10 years ago, I think if we had described this idea, it would have sounded a lot more grandiose. Partly it was a little more innovative back then. Partly we had a lot of features and thoughts and stuff like that that, in fact, I'd say really didn't make it into the product, and we focused a little more on a core thing. We built an open source platform called ComCare, that allows organizations to design and develop mobile apps for their community health workers and other frontline workers. Sometimes we help them do that. And without going into too many details, this graph shows our path to making our dream come true, I'd say. So this graph shows the total number of projects that we had in each year, and then the number of active users is the y-axis. So the height of each layer represents a program, like a community health program that's using our system, and the length, the width, or the height of that layer is how many users submitted at least one form of data using our mobile apps during that year. So back in 2012, we had 74 projects and 2,000 users, and it was awesome. It felt huge to us back then. We were thrilled to have so many projects going on in so many different countries. We were a small group. In 2013, it tripled both number of users and projects. So we thought we were maybe on the fun part of the hockey stick. Back then, it turned out not to be. We had sort of steady growth for the next few years. And the astute observer will notice something different happened on 2017, which is this one huge project. So that project represents a very large-scale deployment of our technology by a wide range of consortiums, including the government of India, World Bank, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations, and others, to scale this technology to a large degree. I'll show you a little more on the next slide. And I'd say that I don't know if it's a little hard to remember back 10 years ago, but looking back, that was the dream we had, was to deploy this technology on a meaningful scale. And it's really something to have achieved this level. I think it's a little bit double-edged. We realize now that getting there is just the beginning, both in terms of opportunities and challenge of running the system. This graph shows shows the daily activity of that large-scale project in India. So this, I won't describe it in too much detail, but it shows the scale up over about 2 years to what is now 210,000 frontline workers using our system, covering a population of about 200 million people. The bottom layer is people who are submitting forms every day. So there are quite a few. The next layer up is people who are just inactive for 2 or 3 days. So you can sort of see the weekends in there where people take some time off. And the very top layer is a really thin sliver of users who have ever submitted a form but haven't submitted a form in the last 90 days. It's really surprising how good the uptake of this system was. The uptake in terms of just usage and consistent usage is higher than 99% of all the pilot projects that I showed you on the last slide. We estimate now there's a lot of data coming in from this system, about 1.8 million forms a day. We estimate that our platform is capturing data on about 1 out of every 100 births that happen in the world, and the platform is tracking about 1 out of 50 malnourished children in the world. So the magnitude is getting significant, and the path to getting here, oh, there we go. Now we are at the point where we can do lots of innovation. So a lot of opportunities to do predictive modeling. We're interested in extending our system with a lot of direct-to-beneficiary, but direct-to-client innovations, and doing more in-depth research on how to use our system. So this is the part that's the advertisement. Having gotten to this scale, we have a lot of opportunities, and would love to work with you all.